The Supreme Court has ordered Vice President Sara Duterte to respond to the petition challenging the constitutionality of the Office of the Vice President's 125 million peso confidential fund in 2022. In a two-page notice made public on December 4, the High Tribunal also directed Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin and Budget Secretary Amenah Pangandaman to comment on the matter. The Supreme Court has not yet acted on the petition as it first wants to get the side of the respondents, which is part of the procedure. Petitioners, led by former Commission on Elections Chair Christian Monsod, not only want the Supreme Court to declare as unconstitutional the transfer of 125 million pesos to the OVP in 2022. They also want the justices to order the Vice President to return the money to the Treasury Department. Once the comments are submitted, the petitioners have 5 days to submit their reply. The controversy on the confidential fund started when opposition lawmakers said Duterte had spent 125 million pesos in confidential and intelligence funds in 2022, even if her office was not given an allocation for such funds under that year's General Appropriations Act. They said the amount was spent by Duterte's office in a span of just 11 days in December 2022. In a rare move, Vice President Sara Duterte publicly disagrees with President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., calling moves to make peace with the National Democratic Front of the Philippines an agreement with the devil. She also criticizes Marcos's efforts to grant pardons to captured rebel groups through several proclamations. Duterte argues the past indicated that the NDFP had no sincerity when it came to peace and that the rebels will only betray the government and the public.
Mr. President, the government's statement with the NDFP in Oslo was an agreement with the devil. Mr. President, we can negotiate for peace and reconciliation and pursue meaningful development efforts in the Philippines without capitulating to the enemies.
The Philippine government and the NDFP have reached a tentative agreement to seek a peaceful resolution to armed conflict again. Dubbed the Oslo Joint Communique, the agreement between the two parties stated they recognize the root issues of the armed conflict. Police are looking into two persons of interest in the bloody bombing that killed 4 people and wounded 50 others in Marawi City. Police Regional Office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Assistant Chief Lieutenant Irene Mazon does not reveal the names of the individuals but says they reside in areas within Lanao del Sur. Islamic State militants claimed responsibility for the blast that happened during a Catholic Mass inside a gymnasium of the Mindanao State University early Sunday, December 3. The Islamic State group said on Telegram its members had detonated the explosive. According to the Philippine National Police, the explosion claimed the lives of 4 people and wounded 50 others. The United States and Israel condemned the deadly bombing at the Mindanao State University in Marawi City that killed at least 4 people and injured 50 others. In a statement, U.S. Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller says his government joins the Philippines in mourning the loss of lives in the deadly bombing, which he called a horrific terrorist attack. Israel, meanwhile, expressed its solidarity with the Philippines and the Filipino people in the wake of the bombing. The Embassy of Israel in Manila asserted that terrorism, quote, is a global threat that needs collective unity among nations. According to the Philippine National Police, the explosion claimed the lives of 4 people and wounded 50 others. Islamic State militants claimed responsibility for the bombing, saying on Telegram that its members had detonated the explosive. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. extends the term of General Benjamin Acorda Jr. as the Chief of the Philippine National Police until March 31, 2024. Acorda turned 56 years old on December 3, reaching the PNP's mandatory retirement age. He was appointed as PNP Chief in April this year. In extending Acorda's term, the Office of the President cited Executive Order No. 136 Series of 1999, which recognized the power of the President to approve the extension of service of presidential appointees beyond the compulsory retirement age for exemplary meritorious reasons. According to the Presidential Communications Office, Acorda has led the PNP to focus on an agenda for a more effective police force such as the personal morale and welfare, community engagement, integrity enhancement, ICT development, and honest law enforcement operations. The Chinese vessels in Julian Felipe Reef appear to be unmanned, being left as a territorial demarcation, according to National Security Council spokesperson Jonathan Malaya. This came after a total of 135 Chinese vessels were monitored in the Julian Felipe Reef in the West Philippine Sea over the weekend. Malaya says that there could be a skeletal crew operating them, but he said that they were mostly there as a status symbol.
Sa pagmamonitor natin, wala din tao yung mga yan. No?
Talagang nakapark.
Pinark lang nila yan dyan. Pero mostly, it's just there. Just, to show to the world na etong lugar na yan ay sa amin. And tayo po, we do not accept that. And we will also, we are deploying our assets as well para ipakita rin sa China na hindi tayo, na hindi natin ito tinatanggap at pinuprotesta natin yung kanilang swarming na ginagawa.
Despite an international tribunal ruling effectively dismissing its claims, China continues to assert sovereignty to almost the entire South China Sea, with its claims overlapping with the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zones of the Philippines and other countries in the Southeast Asian region. Parts of the South China Sea inside the Philippines exclusive economic zone are locally referred to as the West Philippine Sea. Pump prices of petroleum products will have a mixed movement on Tuesday, December 5, as major oil exporters are expected to implement supply cuts. In separate advisories, local oil companies said the price of gasoline would climb by 30 centavos per liter, while diesel would roll back by 30 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, the price of kerosene will also increase by 20 centavos per liter. Clean Fuel will implement the price adjustments by 12:01 a.m., followed by Petrogas and Shell at 6 a.m. According to the Department of Energy Oil Industry Management Bureau, the increase in gasoline prices was triggered by a storm-related drop in Kazakhstan oil output, softer US dollar, and decline in US inventories.
Siniguro ng Kapuso TV host actor na si Rayber Cruz na pakakasalan niya ang kanyang girlfriend na si Julian San Jose. Pero ipinagdiinan ng binata na wala pa silang napag-uusapan ni Julian kung kailan at saan magaganap ang kanilang wedding. Ayon kay Rayber, ang Kapuso actress-singer na ang nakikita ng babae na nais niyang mapangasawa at makasama habang buhay. Say pa ni Rayber, mukhang malapit nang mangyari ang pinakahihintay niyang pag-level up ng relasyon nila ni Julian dahil hindi na rin daw siya bumabata. Wala rin daw siyang timetable kung kailan niya gustong lumagay sa tahimik. Pero looking forward na siyang bumuo ng sariling pamilya. At kung siya ang tatanungin, mas gusto pa rin niyang magpakasal sa simbahan.
Nakakatawa kasi yung questions na ganyan, mahirap naman talaga sagutin na diretso yung kailan mag-propose. Kasi kahit ako, mahirap sagutin ng ganyan. Siyempre, pagka hindi mo naman nasagot ng tama, marami rin masasabi mga tao. I just know, deep in my heart, that si Julian, and
siya na talaga.
Siya talaga. And ini-enjoy din namin yung relationship namin now. When the right time comes, malalaman ko. And God's time, all things to consider first. I respect her family so much. I respect her so much. And I'll know.
Ako si Irving Santiago at yan ang Bandera Chika natin today.